Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And I'm seeing in many of our storylines here in America where not only are people in our cities and our communities are causing havoc on complete strangers or people they may or may not know, between assaults, gun violence, sometimes murder, but there are a lot of cases where you're seeing family members that are contributing to violence against other family members. And it can get as bad as a mother to a daughter, a father to a son, an uncle to a nephew, etc. And this case is particularly extremely disturbing, for just full disclosure, but I think it needs to be talked about and it needs to be exposed, that sometimes stranger danger can be right between the four walls of your own home and from your own family members. And this is coming straight to you out of New Orleans, Louisiana, in particular Thibodaux, Louisiana, where a mother committed a heinous crime against her own daughter and then even allowed her boyfriend not only commit sexual misconduct, but also ended up shooting his girlfriend's daughter in the face. And through all of this teen was burned, awed, and shot. And the mother and boyfriend got arrested. And this teen, with the heart of a champion and a heart of a lion, survived. So let me tell you about it. Terrebonne Parish teen burned, awed, and shot. Mother and boyfriend arrested, sheriff says. The Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office held a news conference on Thursday to discuss arrests made in a case described as an attempted homicide and torture of a teen out of Thibodaux. The sheriff issued a news release on Wednesday announcing that Mr. Terrence Washington and LaTanya Harris were arrested in connection with the investigation. This is how the story goes. The sheriff said on April 21st, their office was contacted by the Baytown, Texas Police Department regarding a crash that happened in their area. According to the sheriff, Baytown officials responded to a crash on I-10 East. The driver was identified as Mr. Washington, and who had a gun and was taken into custody. That is when the sheriff said police found a 15-year-old girl who was badly burned and shot in the chest and the face. The sheriff said the couple, who were identified as the girl's mother and the mother's boyfriend, had intentionally burned and shot the teen. The Baytown Police Department confirmed that Harris, 40, of Thibodaux, and Washington, 41, of Thibodaux, along with a minor child, were taken into custody in connection with the crash and the discovery of the teen. The teen was taken to a Houston hospital to be treated for her injuries. Harris was also taken to a hospital for treatment of injuries she got in the crash. When Mr. Washington was questioned, he admitted to Baytown officials that he had shot the teen and SA'd her over the course of several months, according to the release issued by the sheriff's office. Mr. Washington told police after the shooting the family left for Texas. A 10-year-old girl who was with the family was interviewed by the deputies also. The sheriff said the child told them during Mardi Gras that she woke up several times to her mother setting the teen on fire with a bottle of rubbing alcohol and a lighter. The child told detectives that the teen was shot on two different days and was left untreated while the family traveled to Texas. I'm going to repeat that again. The child told detectives that the teen was shot on 2 different occasions, on 2 different days, and was left untreated while the family traveled to Texas. Unbelievable, diabolic, demonic, and these 2 adults need to be put under the jail. A search warrant was then executed at the family's home, where detectives said they found evidence that a weapon had been shot inside the home, blood, as well as smells of decomposing flesh. Deputies with the TPSO traveled to Baytown to interview Mr. Washington, where he admitted that the shooting happened on April 19th. He claimed, Mr. Washington, that the gun he was holding went off and shot the teen in the face. Why is he holding the gun in the first place? That is a lackluster excuse. And to shoot a teenage 15-year-old girl in the face, you talking about a completely emotionless individual. No humanity whatsoever. The sheriff's office said Washington reported that Harris burned the teen after learning about the essay abuse. Washington told detectives that Harris blamed the girl for the sexual encounters, according to a news release issued by the sheriff. According to Mr. Washington, Harris treated the teen's burns at home and did not seek medical attention. That's the mother of her own daughter. Didn't get her treatment, anything, and tried to burn her up. She's worse than the boyfriend. Harris was released from a hospital on May 9th and returned to Terrebonne Parish. She was brought in for questioning but refused to speak with detectives. Harris was arrested and faces charges of attempted second-degree murder of her own daughter, cruelty to a juvenile, her own daughter, and domestic abuse battery and child endangerment of her own daughter. She remains in the Terrebonne Parish Criminal Justice Complex, where she is being held on a $1 million bond. An arrest warrant has been issued for Mr. Washington, who remains in jail in Texas. He will be transported back to Louisiana and faces charges of 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, second-degree cruelty to a juvenile, obstruction of justice, molestation of a juvenile, 3 counts of indecent behavior with a juvenile, and 5 counts of second-degree R. The 10-year-old was transported back to Louisiana by a family member. That was the other kid that was with them, who was not physically or sexually harmed, but witnessed all of this taking place to this 15-year-old. So what kind of traumatic, psychological, mental, physical trauma that this teen has seen and gone through. You talk about PTSD at its finest. She is going to need therapy for the rest of her life, along with the medical attention, the psychological, psychiatric attention that the 15-year-old girl who went through this by these 2 heinous, demonic individuals. The 15-year-old's mother, Miss Harris, and her boyfriend, Mr. Washington, both 41, that committed these heinous crimes against this 15-year-old girl, who is the daughter of Miss Harris. Just when you think that there's stranger danger outside on the streets, in our cities, in our country, in our state, there are a huge number of individuals that are committing crimes to their own family members. I've done videos on cases out of Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, all over the place. And just when you're supposed to have your guard up when you leave the home, there are many situations where young kids today are having to have their guard up when they're entering their own home. How does that create a healthy society for us at all? And individuals like Mr. Washington and Miss Harris need to be off the streets. They do not need to have children, and I hope they get life in prison and never get out. If you have this kind of hatred and inhumane sensibility to treat and do this to your own child, what do you think Miss Harris or Mr. Washington would do to a complete stranger? Mental illness is a real thing. There's like 25% statistically in America that of people that have undiagnosed, untreated, and or treated mental illness, stress, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia. It is definitely Mr. Washington and Miss Harris definitely are suffering from some kind of psychiatric disorder. And if they're not, they're just plain flat out evil individuals. And some people on this earth and walking around this planet are just completely evil individuals. How in the world could Miss Harris do this and allow this to take place to her own 15-year-old daughter? And God, I pray for her 15-year-old daughter and that 10-year-old young lady that witnessed this, the 15-year-old that went through this, and hopefully they can find, both of these young ladies can find some type of positive recovery and come out on the other side and know that there is a God. You can have faith. There is humanity in some people. Our social services need and legal jurisdiction and system needs to make sure that these two young ladies can try to regain some kind of healthy, stable sensibility about life, and hopefully and prayerfully that they can move on beyond this, and those two individuals, Ms. Harris and Mr. Washington, stay in prison forever. What a sad story. Please manifest your truth in the right direction. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Please stay positive, righteous, and God-fearing by all measures that we can to make this world a better place.